Hi whole class, today in maths we're going to be focusing on the whole as being 7. So I've got my toadstools again with my spots, very similar to what we've been doing, okay, but today's focus is all about the number 7 and we're going to be thinking about ways we can represent 7 in a number problem later on. So I've got my toadstools, I've got my spots and I've got my cherry diagram with my whole as 7. So I'm going to put my spots on my toadstool. I've decided I'm going to put this many on this side and I'm going to put that many on that side. So I've put 6 on this side, so I need to write 6 as my part on that side and 1 on that side because I had 7 spots to start with and I've put 6 on one side and 1 on the other. Okay, so there are lots of different ways we could do this. If you want to have a go at by yourself now, you can do. Okay, so draw your cherry diagram, put all the different ways that you can think of 7. Maybe you could have more than 2 parts. If you want to watch another one, I'm going to do another one, okay, on the next slide. So here I have, again, there's lots of different ways, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side, 1, 2, 3 on this side. So this time my parts are 4 and 3. Okay, so hopefully you've got lots of different ways. If you haven't done so already, pause the video and come up with lots of different ways that you can make 7 using your cherry diagram. Okay, draw some toadstools and some spots if you need to, or get 7 toys out and see how many different ways you could split it. Remember, you don't necessarily need to have 2 parts. Okay, you could have 3 parts. I want you to challenge yourselves and email Mrs. Jackson or Miss Creaser with your work. So that was just a little bit of a warm-up to think about all the different ways we could make 7. Okay, but I'm going to think about representing it in different ways. So we've only looked at a cherry diagram at the minute, okay, but let's have a look at other ways we could do it. So we could also tell it in a story. So first of all, there are 4 children on the bus, then 3 more get on the bus. Now there are 7 children on the bus. It's 4 add 3 makes 7. 4 add 3 equals 7. Okay, so it's the same as representing it in a cherry diagram like I've just done. However, I've just written it in a different way. I've written it as a number calculation. I've drawn it as a picture story of children getting on a bus. So this means exactly the same as this, but just represented in a different way. Okay, so that's what we're looking at today. So here I've got a problem. There are 7 animals, 3 are cats and 4 are dogs. So I'm representing it in different ways. So I've used 3 blue circles to represent my cats and 4 red circles to represent my dogs. So I've got 3 as a part and 4 as a part. Altogether there are 7. 3 cats, 4 dogs, 7 animals. But I could also do it in a cherry diagram where I've got my part as 3, my part as 4 and my whole as 7 as a bar model or as a number sentence. Okay, so there are lots of different ways that we can represent 7 as being the whole and 3 and 4 as being the parts. I could have drawn 3 cats and 4 dogs to represent that. I could have drawn a bead string, okay, where I represented it on a bead string, or Numicon. There are lots of different ways, as well as the story that I've just looked at, but maybe just drawing, okay, my cats and my dogs getting on the bus. So what I want you to do is, this is your problem for today, and I want you to think about all the different ways that you can represent it, whether it be a cherry diagram, bar model, number sentence, Numicon, drawing the pictures. I'll leave that up to you. You can think of all the different ways how you can represent this. Okay, so there are 7 pieces of fruit, because remember our whole is 7. So there are 7 pieces of fruit, 5 are apples and 2 are bananas. Can you show me all the different ways that you can represent that? So cherry diagram, bar model, counters, pictures, okay? Flick it back to the last slide so you can have a look at some of the examples. I did a story, okay? Lots of different ways to represent 7 as your whole, and your parts are 5 and 2. So have a go. Don't forget to email Mrs. Jackson or Miss Creaser with your work. Maybe if you've had a go at that one, maybe you could choose a different problem that you could do, and maybe Mrs. Jackson or I could guess what the problem has been. Or maybe your grown-up can do that as well. But for today, I'll read it again. There are 7 pieces of fruit, 5 are apples and 2 are bananas. Okay, show Mrs. Jackson and Miss Creaser all the different ways that you can represent that. We'll look forward to seeing your work. Stay safe, whole class.